Introduction. The aim is to train drivers to develop driving techniques as well as reduce danger, losses, and personal injury. This training program will prepare you to become a driver familiar with preventative safety methods and procedures. Within this program, we will present the following topics: driver's preparedness, readiness of the vehicle, driving within the city, driving on the highway, deadly driving habits, overtaking, driving in the desert, emergency and unexpected situations, defensive driving, stopping distance. There is a test at the end of the program that you must obtain 80% or above to pass. End of introduction. To go to the next topic, please click on the topic at the bottom of the screen. Driver's preparedness to drive. First, the educational goal is to learn to what extent a driver is unfit to drive a vehicle. Second, what are the things that must be checked before driving? We must check the vehicle to see if the condition of the tires is good, as well as the state of the horn, front and rear headlamps, and other such things. This test will confirm to you whether or not the vehicle is good to drive safely. Third, in the same way that we check that the vehicle is good to drive, we must also check if we ourselves are fit to drive. Ask yourself, am I in the right state to complete the journey safely, both mentally and physically? Fourth, when was the last time that you had an eye test? Can you see distant objects clearly? 1. Can you read close things, such as the vehicle's interior instruments? 2. Can you read the license plate at a distance of 4 cars away? 3. Can you see clearly at night? 5th, can you hear all sounds that should be heard whilst driving a vehicle? Can you hear the seatbelt alert? Can you hear the warning alerting you that you have exceeded the legal speed limit? Can you hear other cars' horns whilst on the road? Can you hear the indicator signal when you leave it running? Can you hear the sound of emergency vehicles? 6th, you must be able to control all driving instruments, as well as be able to look around you to check the area surrounding you. There are certain injuries that prevent you from doing this. Do not try to drive if you suffer from an injury that prevents you from driving safely. 7th, you must check your health status with your doctor to fully confirm that you are able to drive a vehicle without losing control of it. Certain medical conditions may cause you to suddenly lose control of a vehicle, such as epilepsy, diabetes, or a heart attack. Such cases occur suddenly, causing you to lose control of the vehicle. The traffic department requires every vehicle driver to undergo a complete medical examination for such conditions before issuing a full medical license. Failure to give this information to the traffic department could otherwise mean your life, or the lives of innocent people on the road are put in danger, as well as a breach of the law and a violation of the insurance system. 8th, sometimes your doctor may prescribe you with medication that may impede your ability to drive a vehicle. Such symptoms include hallucination, drowsiness, and dizziness. You must check the stickers and instructions accompanying the medicine does not cause any type of impediment. 9th, your mood may affect the way you drive a vehicle. Your mood is the emotional state that you are in at any certain moment. If you are angry, sad, or very happy, this may negatively affect your concentration on driving safely. Do not drive a vehicle whilst you are very emotional. 10th, try to stay away from driving whilst feeling angry or aggressive. Driving whilst angry is unsafe and may lead to an accident. Try to remain calm to enable yourself to control the vehicle. 11th, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs is a violation of the law. The danger lies in that you cannot control the vehicle correctly and may lead to an accident, loss, or death for you or others around you. 12th, drug or alcohol abuse whilst driving may lead to you being imprisoned or worse. 13th, is your physical and mental fitness prepared for driving in conditions different to those you are used to? Driving in the kingdom is different from driving in other countries. There are differences in speed limits, driving laws, etc. So be a passenger sometimes in order to identify the country's driving system. 14th, certain weather conditions in certain areas you may not have encountered before, for which you must be ready physically and mentally. Have you driven in snow or ice before? Do you know how to correctly deal with a vehicle slipping on ice? If your answer is no, it is safer for you not to drive a vehicle. 15th, if you are not ready, or your mental or physical state is not suitable for driving a vehicle, do not be shy to take a taxi. Rely on someone else with more experience, or does not suffer from any mental or physical problems whilst driving. 16th, 1. Any physical or mental state can affect your ability to drive a vehicle. 2. Mental state affects your thinking and your ability to make good decisions. 3. Avoid bad habits such as being temperamental or nervous, as well as abusing drugs and alcohol. 4. Take a few minutes before any journey to ask yourself if you are mentally and physically ready to drive. 5. If you have any doubt or fear, it is okay to request a taxi or ask someone else to drive the vehicle instead. Readiness of the vehicle. First, the educational goal is to learn the items that must be tested in a vehicle before driving. Second, safe and secure driving is the responsibility of every driver. It is also the responsibility of the driver to make sure the vehicle is in a safe condition. The traffic law requires that drivers ensure the general safety of their vehicles. Third, before unlocking and getting in the car, be sure to make a full check of your car. This procedure should be carried out regularly. Look for any objects that may impede the vehicle, or anything that may damage its body, as well as check the condition of the tires, windscreen wipers, windows and doors. Fourth, look for any damage to the body of the vehicle, such as scratches, bumps, and fix anything necessary. Fifth, look for any suspicious objects on the front, rear, or bottom of the vehicle. If anything should be found that raises doubt, contact traffic police. Sixth, ensure there are no rips or damage to the front rubber windscreen wipers. If you are on the highway and it rains, you will not be able to see unless the windscreen wipers are in good condition. Seventh, ensure that the front and rear lights as well as indicator lights work well and are clean. It is dangerous to drive at night without the vehicle's lights on. Eighth, ensure that windows are clean and there is nothing to obstruct the vision. If necessary, clean the windows and windscreen both inside and out. 10th, ensure that the front mirror is clean and not broken. If there is any break or damage to it, action must be taken to fix it. 11th, ensure that the tires are not flat and are in good condition. 12th, check the pressure of the tires from time to time, including the spare tire. The valves will vary depending on the tire's pressure with different kinds of tires, heat, and the type of vehicle. You can find the list of correct pressures depending on the type of tire, heat, and the type of vehicle, as well as a vehicle guide list in the vehicle's interior driver door. 13th, incorrect tire pressure is the main reason for a burst tire. Loss of suitable tire pressure will cause you to lose control of the vehicle at high speeds. This tire came off the vehicle after bursting before the car turned over and the driver died. Therefore, it is important to always make checking your tire pressure a habit. 14th, the driver must check the validity of the vehicle's periodic test sticker and ensure it is suitable for use. 15th, the driver must check that he has obtained enough food and drink for the trip as well as communication equipment, especially for desert journeys. 16th, if there is any defect with the vehicle, emergency services must be contacted immediately using the allocated number. Ensure that a list of such numbers are kept in the glove compartment in the vehicle prior to any journey. 17th. This list of numbers should include those for traffic, police, highway security, civil defense, Red Crescent, and others. 18th. As the driver of a vehicle, you are fully responsible for the safety of your car. As such, you should ensure its soundness and integrity prior to any journey. Driving within cities. First, the aim of this module is to understand safe behaviors for driving within cities, with particular reference to 1. Traffic signs, 2. Intersections, 3. Speed limits, 4. Road signs. Second, traffic signs are used to control the flow of traffic. Their most important functions are to 1. Provide you with mandatory information. 2. Warn you of hazardous roads. 3. Provide you with important information about destinations and places. It is therefore imperative that you adapt your actions to comply with and react to traffic signs. Third, warning signs are triangular warning and cautionary signs alerting you when approaching any potential danger. Black symbols or writing on the sign indicate a type of potential danger. Fourth, an inverted triangular sign indicating to give way to oncoming traffic to the left. Example: you will find such a sign when driving on side roads and when intending to enter onto main roads or at roundabouts. Fifth, octagonal stop signs order you to stop completely. Stopping still is mandatory. Sixth, mandatory and compulsory signs. Example: 1. Speed limit. 2. No entry. 3. Stop. 4. Forbidden to stop or wait. These signs must be fully complied by. If you fail to comply with these signs, it is likely you will be issued a violation or you will cause an accident. 7th, direction signs are rectangular in shape and give information you need about the road. Example: gas station or hospital. Informational images will show you the names and numbers of the motorways or give directions. These signs also include information telling you the distance to cities and villages in addition to certain services such as public telephones. 8th, most main intersections are controlled by traffic lights. Compliance with traffic lights is necessary in order to avoid accidents. 1. Red light means stop. 2. Green light means cross carefully. 3. Amber light means prepare to stop. 9th, flashing signals. Flashing red lights is equivalent to a red light. You must stop and proceed with caution. Flashing yellow lights is equivalent to a giveaway sign, meaning you must give right of way to the other party. Reduce your speed and look in the other direction before proceeding with caution. 10th, accidents occur more at intersections than any other place on the road. 11th, an intersection is where two or more roads meet with more than one direction of traffic. If a collision occurs between two cars, both at 50 km per hour, coming from opposite directions, the impact speed of the accident will be equivalent to 100 km per hour. As such, accidents at intersections can be lethal, with one accident in every 20 at 100 km per hour resulting in a death. 12th, to control intersections and prevent accidents, we use control methods to pass through, such as 1. Stop sign. 2. Roundabout. 3. Traffic light. 4. Traffic police controlling the intersection overruns any other control system. 13th. Why must you stop at a traffic light? 14th. When the traffic lights are red, you must stop completely and wait, with the vehicle stopped before the pedestrian lines or the allocated stop line. Stopping on top of pedestrian lines will constitute a danger to them and is a violation of the law for which you will be issued an offense. All of this can happen if you fail to stop completely before the pedestrian line or the allocated stop line at the red signal. Fifteenth. In this picture, the red car has committed two offenses. First offense, it crossed at a red signal and stopped beyond the allocated stop line. Second offense, it is obstructing the pedestrian crossing as it stopped on top of the planned pedestrian route. 16th. In this picture, the red car has committed two offenses. First offense, it crosses at a red signal and stopped beyond the allocated stop line. Second offense, it overpassed the pedestrian line during a red signal. 17th. The driver of a vehicle must stop before the allocated stop line at a red signal and must make sure there are no pedestrians or traffic at least 2 seconds. He may then turn to the right after ensuring the pedestrian crossing is empty and checking the way is also free of any other oncoming cars. The only lane allocated for turning right after coming to complete stop for 2 seconds at a red light is the far right lane. 18th. If the vehicle does not come to a complete stop for at least 2 seconds before turning to the right at a red light, he will be issued an offense. 19th. The only lane in which it is permitted to turn right from is located on the rightmost side. The driver will have committed an offense if he stops for 2 seconds in the wrong lane before the allocated stop line. 20th. If you see this traffic light, you must not turn right until after you stop in the rightmost lane for 2 seconds. 21st. You must use the allocated exit to turn right before the intersection. You will have committed a traffic offense if you fail to use the exit and turn at the traffic light itself. 22nd. Another type of intersection is those controlled by a quadruple stop sign with 4 directions. Stop signs are found next to all entrances in all directions of the intersection controlled by the quadruple stop sign. When the vehicle reaches the entrances of the intersection, vehicles will exit in the same order they arrived. Upon 2 vehicles arriving at the same time, the vehicle on the right has priority to enter the intersection. In the case they reach it together, compromise should be used. When reaching a traffic signal that is not working, you must deal with it as you would an intersection controlled by 4 stop signs as before. 23rd. Priority intersections such as 1. Roundabouts, 2. Residential areas within neighborhoods. 1. Roundabouts. Priority is given to vehicles present on the roundabout. Vehicles intending to enter the roundabout must wait until it is clear before crossing. 2. Residential areas within neighborhoods. Priority must always be given to vehicles on the right. This type of intersection is sometimes called a compromise intersection. 24th. When approaching any type of intersection, 1. Reduce your speed. 2. Remove your foot from the accelerator pedal and place it on the brake pedal, ready to stop when needed. 25th. When approaching a traffic signal, look, check and cross the intersection. 1. Check that the light is green. 2. Check that the way is free of pedestrians. 3. Be careful of other vehicles, particularly those who intend to cross the red signal. 26th. When reaching an intersection, 1. Know where you want to go and choose the appropriate lane. 2. Reduce your speed to be ready to face any emergency. 3. Show your intentions to others by using your indicators. 4. Go cautiously after checking the intersection is clear. 27th. You must pay attention when turning at a traffic signal that you are stopped at after it changes to green. Wait until the intersection is clear of traffic before moving. 1. In this example of defensive driving, the yellow car waits for pedestrians to clear before heading to the specified lane. 2. The appropriate lane must be chosen in the opposite side of the intersection, according to the lane you were previously in. 3. You must not choose the rightmost lane, as it is not the correct lane for you. 28th. The driver of the red vehicle approaches the green traffic light at excessive speed. The traffic light turns amber. The driver could stop the vehicle if he uses the brakes fully. However, it is likely that the vehicle will stop beyond the entrance of the intersection. In addition to this, there are also other vehicles, the yellow car, very close to the red car. If the driver of the red car uses his brakes fully, the yellow car will collide into the rear of the red car. In both situations, the correct action for the red car would be to continue with the traffic after ensuring the path and the intersection is clear of any other vehicles. The yellow car must stop before reaching the intersection, otherwise he will overpass a red signal. 29th. What is the safe distance that must be left between you and the vehicle in front of you when stopping at any intersection or any other place? The safe distance you must leave between you and the vehicle in front of you is the distance at which you can see the rear tires of the vehicle in front. 30th. When stopping at a traffic signal. 1. When the traffic light changes to green, you must wait for a few seconds before moving in order to give others in the middle of the intersection time to clear. You must then look left and right again. 2. You must check that there are no other cars headed to pass through a red signal. You must also check that there are no pedestrians in your way or on the road that you are headed to. 3. Upon ensuring that the intersection is completely clear, proceed with caution, looking left and right both near and far continuously while crossing the intersection. 31st. Speed limits specified on road signs are the maximum speeds for normal conditions. You must not exceed the speed limit no matter what the circumstances. It is your responsibility alone to maintain the speed limit, and you must also reduce your speed appropriately in consideration of weather conditions such as fog or rain. 32nd. Road engineers develop the maximum speed for roads after studying the ability of the road to withstand such speeds. As such, you must comply with these speed limits as it is likely you do not know the real reason behind placing the speed. 33rd. Exceeding the speed limit may subject you to legal repercussions and offenses. 34th. Speeding is the main reason for deaths and injuries resulting from accidents in the kingdom. 1. 30% of accidents annually are due to speed. 2. The higher the speed, the greater the probability is of causing a death in an accident. It is likely that all residents of the kingdom know at least one person who has died in an accident. 35th. Road signs show 1. Where pedestrians can cross. 2. When overtaking is forbidden. 3. Where a vehicle should prepare to turn. 4. Where you must stop the vehicle when reaching an intersection. 36th. When turning, you must make sure to stay in the lane you were in. 37th. Changing lane or overtaking in the middle of an intersection can cause an accident. Therefore, overtaking and changing lane in the middle of an intersection is forbidden. 38th. What is the safe zone? The safe zone is the distance left around your vehicle to ensure that there is enough time and space for you to act in the case of danger. In the above picture, the safe zone is the area indicated in blue. Your safe zone is penetrated when another vehicle enters into the blue area. Be careful. 39th. When an emergency vehicle is responding to an emergency situation, it will use its sirens and flashing warning lights. Often this will be a life or death situation. 1. You must give way to emergency vehicles by heading to the right as much as possible. 2. Allow emergency vehicles to pass safely when it is safe for you. You can never know. The emergency vehicle may be saving one of your loved ones. 40th. You must comprehend and understand the correct driving methods and customs within the city by ensuring you follow traffic signals and road signs. 1. Be careful at intersections. 2. Follow the allowed speed limits. 3. Follow road signs and understand what they mean. By following this, you may save the life of a loved one or a relative. Driving on highways. First, the educational goal is to learn the correct and safe methods and actions when driving on highways. Second, traffic accidents are the major cause of death in the kingdom. Third, being responsible while driving. Following the correct actions is essential in order to reduce the number of deaths as a result of accidents. Fourth, you can avoid all traffic accidents by concentrating properly on the road at all times. Do not allow your mind to stray far from your aim of driving safely. Fifth, as the driver of a vehicle, you alone are responsible for making sure that you and all passengers wear seat belts. Use of the seat belt has a role in limiting injuries and deaths resulting from traffic accidents. Sixth, use the appropriate child car seat in the correct manner for the vehicle, as they contribute to reducing deaths in children by 71% in accidents. Seventh, most highway entrances have a merger lane. The merger line allows you to accelerate to the appropriate speed of other vehicles on the highway. You must use your indicator and check your side mirrors as well as the blind spot. Ensure that the lane is clear of oncoming vehicles and proceed onto the highway to merge between the vehicles. Then join the vehicles on the right side of the highway. Do not move directly onto other lanes. Eighth, when driving on a highway, make sure to check your surroundings constantly by looking at your side mirrors. Ninth, when exiting a highway, keep to the right lane, then use the indicator before reaching the exit. When you find yourself at the exit, try to reduce the speed of your vehicle to suit the speed of other vehicles on the side road. 10th, you must plan in advance before entering or exiting a highway. Keep to the appropriate lane and use your indicators to show the direction you intend to go. It is strictly prohibited to reverse if you miss the exit or entrance on a highway or even within the city. 11th, even after checking all side and rear mirrors, you will not be able to see everything. There will be gaps or blind areas from every side of the vehicle, allowing you only to see vehicles located in specific points. You may not be aware of the presence of a vehicle very close to you, located in your blind spot. Therefore, if you change lanes or exit a road suddenly, you may cause a fatal accident with another vehicle. The only solution for such a situation is to look to the right or left by glancing over your shoulder, depending on need. 1. Do not place yourself in the blind spot of other drivers. 2. Check the blind spot whenever changing lanes, before joining a highway, and before exiting a highway. Checking your blind spot could save your life. 12th, overtaking on the shoulder. 1. Strictly prohibited and is extremely dangerous. 2. Overtaking at excessive speed could be fatal. 13th, visibility is reduced at night, and the lighting provided by streetlights and the vehicle's front headlamps is limited. You must therefore reduce your speed to avoid accidents. Check that all of the vehicle's front and rear lights are working to ensure good vision, as well as to enable other drivers to see you. 14th, you may be dazzled by the lights of oncoming vehicles. If this happens, reduce your speed and do not look at oncoming lights directly. Look to the right of the road, and do not use high beam lighting to avoid dazzling other drivers, except when there are no oncoming vehicles. Try to use low beam lights when there is another vehicle in the opposite direction, in order not to dazzle the driver. 15th, always be aware in order to understand the full picture. It is not enough to only see what is in front of your eyes. You must look for potential accidents at any intersection with any car. As such, you must leave a safe distance between you and the next car by using the 2-second rule. Leaving a safe distance is the basis of good vision. Always concentrate on driving and the traffic and not on talking. You must constantly use your eyes. Stay alert by looking to your right and left, near and far, and take a quick glance at your side mirrors and rear mirrors at least once every 5 to 8 seconds. You must also glance from time to time at the instrument panel to check your speed and any warning signs. Do not occupy your mind whilst driving. If you focus your eyes on something specific for a long time, you will feel tired and fatigued. Keep moving your eyes and keep your mind active. 16th. If your vehicle malfunctions, find a place for you, your passengers and vehicle off the highway, away from the traffic. Use the hazard lights and the safety triangle in order for other vehicles to see you. If the vehicle malfunctions on a highway, try to stop the vehicle on the right-hand side of the road. If the vehicle malfunctions on a one-way road, place the safety triangle 75 meters away from the vehicle. If the vehicle malfunctions on a two-way road, place 2 safety triangles to the front and rear of the vehicle 75 meters away. If you do not have 2 safety triangles, use any red reflector. The right side of the road is the safest place for a vehicle should it malfunction. Never try to cross a highway. 17th. It is important to know how much distance is required to stop your vehicle in an emergency. Reaction distance is the distance traveled before responding to a hazard and before pressing the brakes. Braking distance is the distance necessary to stop the vehicle after pressing the brakes until coming to a complete stop. The greater the speed of the vehicle, the greater the distance necessary to stop. Wet roads also greatly increase the distance required to stop. 18th. What happens to the stopping distance with increased vehicle speed? The stopping speed is multiplied by 4 if you drive at high speeds or very close to the vehicle in front of you. You will not be able to respond in good time if the vehicle in front of you stops suddenly or the brake lights come on. 19th. Speeding is the main cause of fatal accidents. A careful driver does not exceed the speed limit no matter what the circumstances. The maximum speed for heavy vehicles is 80 km per hour and 120 km per hour for passenger cars. 20th. When beginning to drive on highways, defensive drivers control their driving and follow traffic regulations. Certain simple actions and habits, such as applying the 2-second rule to control the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, driving to the speed limit, checking the blind spots around the vehicle, following traffic regulations and paying attention whilst driving, will reduce the possibility of you having an accident. Deadly driving habits. First, the educational aim of this module is to understand dangerous habits when driving a vehicle and how to replace them with safe driving behavior. Fatal habits include 1. Speeding. 2. Ignoring the blind spot. 3. Driving too close to vehicles. 4. Overtaking on a shoulder. 5. Not wearing a seatbelt. 6. Unhelpful passenger participation. 7. Certain volatile habits whilst driving. Warning: certain clips may contain sense of accidents or injuries. Second, speeding is usually fatal and is the main cause of death in the kingdom. To avoid the risk of death, do not speed. Third, speeding increases the distance required to stop your vehicle in an emergency situation. The distance traveled by your car when needing to react to such emergency increases with higher speed. When you use the brakes, your car will need a longer time to stop. Fourth, click on the images one after the other and discover the difference between an accident at 64 km per hour and another accident at 100 km per hour. What do you think the outcome would be if you were in an accident at a speed of 120 km per hour? Fifth, the probability of death in a collision significantly increases with increasing speed. 1. The probability of death in an accident at 70 km per hour is 1 in 10. 2. The probability of death in an accident at 90 km per hour is 8 in 10. What is the probability of risk? Risking your life at 120 km per hour or at a speed higher than 120 kilometers per hour? Would you risk your life and that of your family if the death rate was certain? Sixth, just as excessive speed is fatal, choosing the wrong lane at the wrong speed can also be. In this picture of the highway, the appropriate speed must follow the traffic in the lane, whilst also making sure not to exceed the maximum speed limit. 1. It is required to stay in the left-hand lane when driving at the maximum speed limit when overtaking only. 2. It is best to stay in the middle lane when driving at a medium speed. 3. It is best to stay in the right-hand lane when driving slowly. Keeping up with the speed of the traffic in a specific lane is a way to prevent you from having an accident. For example, driving slowly in the left-hand lane will increase the likelihood of a collision from the vehicle to your rear, which is also likely to cause a series of accidents. Another example is poor speed management, such as changing lane from the far left at high speed to the far right to exit the road quickly. 7th, failure to check the blind spot when changing lanes is a lethal and deadly habit. You cannot see vehicles in this spot, even when looking in the side and rear view mirrors. By using just one technique, you can see what is in the blind spot. Simply glance over your left or right shoulder depending on need. 8th, there is a way that may reduce the blind spot by adjusting the outside mirrors. 9th, failure to leave a safe distance can be lethal, increasing the likelihood of you colliding with the car in front of you as you get closer to it. Therefore, you must use the 2-second rule to leave a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. 10th, the ideal way to check that there is a safe distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you is to use the 2-second rule. This is when the rear of the vehicle in front of you is parallel to a fixed reference point on the road. Begin counting 1001, 1002. You must not finish counting before you reach the same reference point. Example, a lamppost, sign, or anything else fixed to the side of the road. 11th, if your vehicle reaches the reference point before you finish counting, it means that you have not left a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. 12th, if you are driving your vehicle too close to the vehicle ahead of you, reduce your speed and leave additional space between you and the vehicle in front. Use the 2-second rule again to check that the distance separating you from the vehicle ahead is safe and is at least 2 seconds apart. 13th, overtaking on the shoulder is a fatal habit. The shoulder is a distance on the right and left of the highway after the yellow lines for stopping in emergencies only. Using the shoulder to overtake is not safe and is also illegal, for which you may be issued an offense. 14th, overtaking on the shoulder places you and the car you are overtaking in danger of having a fatal accident. The reason for this is due to your excessive speed and coming too close to the concrete barrier or the road's edge. You will also come too close to the vehicle you are overtaking, and the likelihood of residue, stones, and wreckage at the side of the road places you and others in great danger. 15th, you must carefully consider your decision whenever you overtake on a shoulder, as you may find a vehicle containing a family and you may kill its occupants, mother, father, and children. It is important to consider the implications associated with the actions and decisions you take whilst driving on the road. 16th, failure to wear your seatbelt is often fatal. The seatbelt could save your life if you use it correctly. Therefore, it is the driver's responsibility to check that all passengers are wearing their seatbelt. Failing to wear a seatbelt may cause death if one is involved in an accident. 17th, child safety seats vary depending on the size and age of the child. Check that the child seat is the appropriate size for your child every month. If the size of the seat is not appropriate, you must change it immediately. 18th, not using passengers to help assist the driver effectively, such as co-pilot in the cockpit, can often be fatal. If you are a passenger, it is your responsibility to check that the driver completes the journey safely. In 2009, 50% of deaths resulting from vehicle accidents were passengers. If you are a passenger, try to prevent or advise the driver from exceeding the speed limit or when engaging in any fatal action or habit. As a driver, you must encourage passengers to be effective as well as positive in order to ensure a safe journey. 19th. As the driver of a vehicle, encourage passengers to help with navigation systems, maps and GPS devices. Let passengers take all phone calls and encourage them to help identify hazards on the road. If you are a passenger, be ready and remind the driver of his responsibilities towards you should he behave unacceptably whilst driving. 20th. A safe journey can be realized by eradicating all deadly behaviors and habits before you start driving. Think carefully about all of the deadly habits, as well as how to protect yourself and those with you in the vehicle and on the road from the result of your actions. Taking this into consideration increases the likelihood of you arriving safely. Overtaking. First, accidents are usually caused by erroneous overtaking. Second, you must check that the road is safe before overtaking. Third, after completing this lesson, you will have learned 1. The appropriate way to overtake other vehicles in the city, on highways, and in rural areas. 2. How to overtake slow vehicles. 3. The potential errors when overtaking other vehicles. 4. Situations in which it is forbidden to overtake. 5. What you must do when other vehicles overtake you. 6. The important points that you must know when other vehicles overtake you. 4th. What are the errors in this picture? The vehicle to the left overtakes in a dangerous and prohibited area on the road. An accident may result from this incident of overtaking. The driver committed several mistakes. 1. Overtaking on 2 continuous lines. 2. Overtaking at the top of a hill. 3. Overtaking on a turn. 4. Overtaking without front vision. 5th. What things must be checked before overtaking? 1. Check that the vehicle in front of you is slower than yourself. 2. Check that road signs allow you to overtake. 3. Check that there is no hill or turn in front. 4. Check that the road surface is appropriate to overtake on. 5. Check what is in front of the vehicle that you intend to overtake before proceeding to overtake. 6. Check that the road is clear by looking over your left shoulder. 7. Check the rear view mirror. 8. Check left under blind spot. 9. Check the left lane is clear. 10. Check the main road and side road are clear of oncoming cars. 6th. We will now review some steps for overtaking safely. 7th. Do you think that the driver of the vehicle that was overtaken will not change lanes? 8th. Stay away and do not approach closer than the safe distance you can work out by the 2-second rule. 9th. The easiest way to check the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you is to use the 2-second rule. This is when the rear of the vehicle in front of you passes a reference point and you start counting 1001, 1002. You must finish counting before you reach the same reference point. Example: a lamppost, a sign, or any other fixed object beside the road. If your vehicle reaches the fixed reference point before you finish counting, it means that you have not left a safe distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you. 10th. If you are driving your vehicle too close to the vehicle in front of you, reduce your speed and leave additional space between you and the vehicle ahead. Use the 2-second rule to check if the distance separating you from the vehicle in front is safe. It should not be less than 2 seconds. 11th. Check the traffic. The left lane should be clear. 12th. Use the indicators to show others you intend to change lanes. 13th. Check the traffic behind you by using the side mirrors. 14th, upon checking that all ways are completely safe, overtake by accelerating and move to the left lane. In all cases, do not exceed the permitted speed limit. 15th, after overtaking, use the right indicator and return to the right-hand lane only when you see the car you have overtaken in the side view mirror. 16th, we will now explain the situations in which you may not overtake. 1. Do not overtake at the top of a hill. 2. Do not overtake on turns, especially if you are unable to see. 3. Overtaking is forbidden at intersections. 4. Do not overtake on 2 or 1 solid line separating lanes. 17th. You will not be able to see everything even after adjusting the side and rear mirrors, as there will be a blind spot on every side of the vehicle. As such, you cannot see a vehicle located in this area. You may not be aware of the presence of a vehicle very close to you located in your blind spot. If you change lanes, exiting the road suddenly or without warning, you may cause a fatal accident with another vehicle. The solution in this case is to check right and left according to need by glancing over your shoulder, and do not place yourself in the blind spot of other drivers. Always check the blind spot before changing lane before and after joining a highway, and before exiting. Checking the blind spot may save your life. 18th. Overtaking on the shoulder of the road is strictly prohibited, as it is extremely dangerous. With excessive speed, when overtaking, it could be fatal. 19th. Visibility levels reduce at night, and therefore, the field of vision given from straight lights and the vehicle's front headlamps is limited. For this reason, you must reduce your speed to avoid an accident. Check that all front and rear headlamps are working in order to ensure good visibility as well as to allow other drivers to see you. 20th. Do not overtake on a solid line on the lane. 21st. Do not overtake when the distance between you and the railway is less than 30 meters. 22nd. Do not overtake a long line of vehicles at one time. 23rd. When there are other vehicles that want to overtake your vehicle, reduce your speed and head to the right as much as possible. Driving in the desert. First, the learning objective of this module is to identify the necessary steps that should be taken to ensure a safe driving on desert roads. Second, driving in the desert is dangerous. Should any small matter occur, it could be a matter of life and death. Therefore, you must know and follow all safety steps as well as test your vehicle and safety equipment periodically. It is also necessary to prepare a contingency plan before driving. The driver of the vehicle must be experienced in driving in such areas. Be aware of the dangers. Take necessary precautions. And it is best to take a special desert driving course before driving a special vehicle. Third, always use the four-wheel drive system when driving in the desert, and do not drive the vehicle alone. It is important to be part of a group made up of 2 cars or more. In the event your car malfunctions, others will be able to help you get out of the desert safely, especially if you are part of a desert driving training group. Fourth, an important step before embarking on a desert journey is to test the vehicle. Check there is enough fuel for the journey. Check the integrity and condition of all tires in addition to the spare. Check the oil level and make sure there is no leakage. Check the water cooling level. Make sure that the cooler cover is closed tightly and also check there is no leakage. Check the battery, lights, wiring, and horn and ensure their smooth operation after switching them on. Check that there is no damage or break in any part of the vehicle. Fifth, when planning a journey into the desert, use a checklist to make sure you have all the main and necessary things for all situations, such as the vehicle breaking down for a long period of time. A primary list that can be added to is available in the defensive driving manuals. The amount of supplies needed throughout the journey and other important items include 1. map or navigation system. 2. Phone, preferably a satellite phone. 3. Equipment to check tire pressure. 4. Equipment to fill and empty air. 5. Fuel sufficient for the journey and reserve fuel in a suitable container if needed. 6. Equipment to help you get out of sand. 7. Spare tire and certain spare parts such as a functioning engine. 8. The most important thing of all is to have enough drinking water. 6th. You cannot carry a very large amount of water with you in the desert. However, there is an appropriate standard, and that is to carry 4 liters of water for every person per day, in addition to an additional quantity for personal use or filling the water cooling device. You should have additional quantities of water in emergency situations by having enough to suffice at least 3 days for every person. 25 liters of water is enough for one person to use in 1 day. Example, you must have 100 liters of water for 4 people for 1 day. 7th. Fuel. 4-wheel drive cars consume 65% more fuel than other vehicles. Check that you have enough fuel to reach your destination and return. It is best to have an additional amount of fuel to use if necessary. Vehicles that have an additional fuel tank are best for desert journeys. Carry with you an additional amount of fuel in a metal can that does not leak vapors. Be careful not to fill it completely. Rather, leave sufficient space for expansion and check that the lid is sealed tightly. 8th. Placing heavy supplies on the roof of the vehicle increases the probability of the car turning over. Instead, place heavy items inside the vehicle and relatively light items on the roof. Be sure to know where important items are placed. 9th. Before embarking on a desert journey, hold a meeting and plan everything that you will need. You must know what to do. Make a rescue plan in the event your car breaks down or if you get stuck in the sand. Check that you have all necessary equipment before embarking on the journey. Plan your journey on a map or navigation system, and check your destination more than once. Make sure you have reserve batteries for the navigation system. Check by drawing your path on a map, and record the time expected to reach your destination. You must inform a friend or colleague of your plan, and everyone must know where you are going, how long you will stay there, and when you expect to return. Inform them that they should declare an emergency if you do not contact them at the time and date specified. Upon your return, you must inform all of your safe arrival. 10th. Before leaving the road to drive in the desert, you must define your location. Pay attention to landmarks such as mountains or pipelines and mark them on the navigation system or map when you pass them. Also pay attention to the sun and direction of the wind. The wind usually blows from the north in the desert. Always check the weather before beginning your journey, and do not travel in a storm or rain. Never go out in your car at night, as it is more likely that you will get lost or have an accident. 11th. When you leave the paved road onto soft sand, you must reduce the pressure of the tires and return them to their original state when rejoining a paved road. The appropriate pressure for soft sand is 20 lbs per square inch, or less if the conditions require. Reducing the tire pressure increases the area in contact with the road and gives greater grip on soft sand. Do not forget to choose a 4-wheel drive system and never stop except on solid areas or when you encounter a slope. 12th. It is very dangerous for a vehicle to get stuck in hot desert sand. Excessive attempts to get the vehicle out of hot sand may cause an increased temperature in the engine or cause the malfunction of mechanical parts. When a vehicle becomes stuck in sand, first make sure that it is 4-wheel drive mode, then gently move the vehicle back and forth without making the tires spin. If this happens, you will be stuck even deeper in the sand. 13th. If the vehicle remains stuck in the sand, get out of the vehicle and examine the situation. Check the transmission is in the stop position and the handbrake is in use. Make the passengers to get out of the car and ask them to help. Make sure the pressure of all tires is low. Reduce tire pressure and dig a trench or path in front of each tire, making completely sure not to dig a hole. Try to take the sand away from the bottom of the vehicle. You can remove all items and supplies from the vehicle if necessary and place them away from the front or rear of the car. You can also ask help from passengers with you to push the vehicle. However, you must inform them of your intention to move the vehicle back and forth before starting. If you are unable to get the vehicle out after this, take a rope and ask another vehicle to pull your car. Make sure to put sandboards beneath the vehicle to help you, and do not allow the other vehicle to become stuck in the sand as well. When you are out of the sand, do not stop except on solid ground. 14th. When driving on sand, look for solid areas to drive on. The best sign of this is the tracks of other vehicles in the sand, such as in the picture. The newer the tracks, the less likely it is that the vehicle will become stuck in the sand. There are also other tracks in the sand that can identify solid areas, such as this plant called the undab. This plant grows in solid sand and is a good indication that can guide you. 15th. The sand and wheel tracks in this picture give an indication that the sand is soft. Pay attention to the presence of this plant, known as the thaman, which grows only in loose sand. Its presence is therefore an indication that the sand is soft, and you must be careful not to drive on it. 16th. If your vehicle breaks down or you become lost in the desert, stay inside the vehicle and do not leave to search for road on foot, as a vehicle is easier to spot from the air compared to a person. Staying with your vehicle speeds up any process to save you. The vehicle will also provide suitable shade, as the most important rescue point is to remain out of direct sunlight as much as possible. 17th. It is best to remain in mobile phone and wireless coverage as much as possible. A mobile phone may work several kilometers from the nearest transmission station, and there are certain wireless phones that may work on a larger scale. Therefore, make sure there is enough charge on the device's battery before embarking on any trip, as well as ensure you have a list of emergency numbers to contact. 18th. If you need to use a way to attract the attention of other vehicles, people, or aeroplanes, carefully light a fire and add some oil to form smoke. Erecting a large tent in a unique color may also help distinguish your location. Additionally, you can also write SOS in the sand, or by using stones, as well as using a mirror to reflect the sun's rays. 19th. Summary. Driving in the desert regions is very dangerous if you do not have sufficient experience or not prepared in how to behave or drive in this environment. You must test all parts of the vehicle carefully, as well as equipment. Have a contingency plan in place before you go to the desert. You must always inform certain people of your intention to go to the desert, as well as the exact place and time you expect to return. Ask them to contact the emergency services if you do not contact them to inform them of your return at a specified time. Always use vehicles with four-wheel drive and do not drive in the desert without being accompanied by another vehicle. You must take with you necessary supplies of water and fuel, in addition to the appropriate communication equipment and navigation devices. Place heavy items inside the vehicle and leave lighter things on the roof. Lower the tire pressure and know the best way to drive in the sand, as well as the ways to identify solid ground. In the event your vehicle breaks down or you become lost, use all possible communication methods and identify your location. Emergency and unexpected situations. How to deal with them safely. The educational aim of this workshop is to learn about emergency and unexpected situations and how to deal with them safely whilst driving. First, in most accidents, driver error is the main cause of it, and this is always true when driving a vehicle under adverse conditions, such as when vision is impaired, on slippery roads, non-gravelled roads, traffic jams, emergencies, or when experiencing problems with the vehicle. A skilled driver is always prepared for adverse driving situations by reducing speed, increasing the stopping distance between himself and the vehicle in front, illuminating the headlamps, and always knowing how to react in an emergency. Second, road conditions and bad weather. An influential factor affecting the condition of the road affects your ability to control the vehicle as well as your ability to stop. A driver following preventative measures is always able to adjust his driving to suit the road conditions around him. Third, when the road is wet or slippery, reduce your speed, as the top speed that applies on the road is only suitable in ideal conditions. Therefore, it is imperative that you adjust your speed according to adverse conditions. Fourth, reduce your speed when approaching bumps or pits. If your car falls into a hole at high speed, it may damage the vehicle, or you may lose control of it. Fifth, reduce speed at 1. Corners, 2. Diversions, 3. Intersections, 4. Road surface area, 5. Holes or bumps, 6. Stones. 7. Slippery or unpaved roads. 8. When the road narrows. 9. When approaching a railway intersection or narrow bridge. Pay attention and take a long view of the road in front of you. Do not rely completely on road signs. Sixth, an example of an adverse situation is the presence of many drivers and pedestrians on a busy road. Seventh, the amount of traffic on a road depends largely on the time of the day. Traffic is at its peak in the weekdays, during the morning and afternoon. Example, when going to and returning from work. Therefore, try as much as possible to avoid driving during peak traffic, and remember that the more traffic on the road, the more likely an accident will occur. Eighth, if you cannot avoid driving at peak times, pre-plan your route to avoid congested roads or exits. However, if you are in a traffic jam, move with the traffic, merge with the traffic around you, and avoid violating the speed limit. If you drive faster or slower than the vehicles around you, you may be forced to overtake or be overtaken by others. That in itself increases the likelihood of an accident occurring. Ninth, lighting conditions affect your ability to see as well as the ability of others to see you. Driving in the dark is particularly dangerous, so adjust your speed to less than the road's speed limit to suit the condition of the road. Do not drive fast. It will not allow you to stop within the distance that you see. 10th, when the sun strains your eyes, such as in the morning or afternoon, use sunglasses or the sun visor installed in the vehicle. 11th, always remember to switch on the vehicle's lights at night, dusk and dawn until you are able to see others, as it is difficult for drivers to see each other at such times. 12th, when driving at night, switch off the high beam when approaching traffic in the opposite direction. If your eyes hurt due to the high beam lighting of the oncoming vehicles, reduce your speed and focus your eyes directly on the edge of the road until the oncoming vehicle passes. 13th, bad weather conditions include rain, fog, sandstorms, snow, and ice. If the weather conditions or visibility is poor, it is best not to use the vehicle at all. However, if it is necessary to drive, reduce your speed significantly and use low lights. If you are driving in the middle of the night and weather conditions become worse, come off the road and wait. 14th, if your vision is affected due to rain, fog, or dust, use low lights, follow the red lights of the cars in front of you, and be ready to reduce your speed or even stop. Do not drive with your indicators on constantly. Rather, use the warning lights only when stopping completely. 15th, driving in rain is very dangerous for two reasons. First, it reduces your field of vision to avoid objects, therefore, reduce your speed and switch on the low lights to see and let others see you. Second, rain affects your ability to turn and stop the vehicle. When there is a layer of water on the road, it can make you overspeed as your car's front tires float on the surface of the water, rather than making contact with the road directly. This in turn causes the phenomenon of buoyancy, making your vehicle float on the surface of the water like a boat. Buoyancy also reduces the quality of the brakes and turning ability. Therefore, you must reduce your speed in order to limit its effects. 16th. Sand, dust and fog are some of the most dangerous natural conditions that may obscure vision. If you experience reduced visibility, reduce your speed. You must stop within the distance you are able to see. If you cannot see, even after reducing your speed, you must leave the road in order not to collide with another vehicle. Reduce your speed and head to the right side of the road carefully. Try to stay away from the road as much as possible, in order for other vehicles not to collide with you. It is good to keep some books and dried fruits with you should the waiting time increase. Do not continue your journey until you ensure you can see safely. 17th. Strong winds are very dangerous and can blow your vehicle off course. If there's a thick sandstorm or rain, it can significantly limit your vision off the road, and you must reduce your speed to the limit necessary for such conditions. Exit the road if weather conditions are very poor. 18th. Always be vigilant in anticipating events. Drivers should always be mindful of adverse road conditions. 19th. The defensive driving formula is made up of 3 simple steps. 1. Expect adverse events before they happen. 2. Be aware of what you must do. 3. Act quickly and decisively without hesitation. 20th. Expect adverse events before they happen. You must develop your ability to search and scan roads and anticipate predictable hazards. For example, expecting camels on desert roads even if you do not see warning signs, cautioning of their presence. Always be aware of the occurrence of any incident. Do not believe that everything is safe, and do not expect everything to be okay. Stay alert. 21st. Know what you will do in the event of any emergency. Every emergency situation requires a different action in order to deal with it. You must learn the suitable actions for various emergency conditions in order to know how to reach when any of them should actually occur. 22nd. Make the right decisions to avoid danger and do not assume that everyone you face will act in the right way. In the previous example, do not expect that the camel will clear the road in time. Expect the worst. Act correctly before it is too late. Remember, the defensive driving formula consists of 3 steps. 1. Expect adverse events before they happen. 2. Be aware of what you must do. 3. Act quickly and decisively without hesitation. 23rd. Driving hazards may occur at times that you do not expect. In order to be a defensive driver, you must be aware of the appropriate actions to avoid danger. 24th. If the vehicle behind you leaves a safe distance between your vehicle and his, you must undertake the following. Slowly reduce your speed. Communicate with the other party to let him know of your intention to change course. Check the situation across all mirrors and check your blind zone. If you are sure of the safety of the situation, drive to the right. 25th. Never speed in the vehicle. If you see that there is a danger approaching and you cannot avoid it, press the brakes lightly and continuously to alert the vehicle behind you that there is danger. Reduce your speed slowly. 26th. If the accelerator becomes stuck, focus all your attention on the road. Control the vehicle and kick the accelerator pedal. If the accelerator pedal remains stuck, you must change to a normal gear. Press the brakes lightly and stop at the side of the road. Once you have stopped, turn off the vehicle. 27th. In the event that the brakes should malfunction or fail, press the brake pedal several times. If this does not work, focus on controlling the vehicle and do not panic. Place the vehicle in subsequently lower gears and use the horn to alert pedestrians and other cars. Try to use the handbrake gently. In the absence of any other solution, use a cement road block or metal barrier to slow your speed. 28th. Wet brakes. After driving your vehicle through pools of water, your brakes may become wet and not work properly. In this case, you must test the brakes by pressing on the pedals gently to check its effectiveness. If the brakes become wet, the brakes may deviate in a different direction or they may not work at all. Hold the steering wheel properly. The vehicle may slow simply by putting pressure on the brakes when they dry out and the wetness is gone. 29th. In the case of a burst tire, you may hear a loud, disturbing noise. The steering wheel will become heavy and will suddenly turn in the opposite direction. Hold the steering wheel firmly and remove your feet from the accelerator pedal. Do not press the brakes at all. Leave the vehicle to slow down by itself. When the speed of the vehicle slows, head off the road and stop in a safe place to change the tire. 30th. Detailed guidance on how to deal with a burst tire that goes off the road. 1. Remove your foot from the fuel pedal. 2. If the roadside is composed of soft sand or soft surface, hold the steering wheel firmly and do not use the brake. 3. If the roadside is solid, use the brake lightly. 4. Wait for the road to clear off traffic. 5. Steer the front wheels toward the road slowly, whilst also slowly moving the vehicle. If you sense any change in the vehicle, stop and check the vehicle and the tires, and complete journey with caution. 31st. Vehicles slide when they lose their grip on the road as a result of speed on a road that is slippery due to rain, dust or snow. Slipping may also happen when driving with worn-out wheels. When a vehicle slips, change the direction of the wheels towards the direction it is slipping as shown. If the rear of vehicle slips to the right, change the direction of the wheels to the right. If the rear of the vehicle slips to the left, change the direction of the wheels to the left. If the slipping becomes worse and you use the brakes, you must use the clutch or change gear after restoring the vehicle's proper position. 32nd. Electronic control systems are available for stability in certain modern cars. The stability control system is an electronic system that improves the stability of the car by detecting any slipping, even if very small. When the system detects any slipping by the vehicle, the brakes are pressed automatically in order to restore the vehicle to its natural course. 33rd. The 4 hazard lights must be used only when the vehicle stops. For example, the hazard lights must be used if the vehicle malfunctions at the side of the road. However, if the vehicle is moving, you must never use them. Using the hazard lights when moving is very dangerous, as it may be understood incorrectly that you want to stop, which itself is hazardous. 34th. Summary. Pay attention and react correctly to all adverse situations when driving, such as driving at night, in rain, in fog, and on poor or slippery roads. Pay attention at all times. 1. Expect adverse events before they happen. 2. Be aware of what you must do. 3. Act quickly and carefully. 4. Act properly and be ready for the unexpected. Defensive driving. First, this program consists of e-lessons and simple tests to help drivers activate and improve their driving performance. Educational goal. 1. To learn the characteristics of a defensive driver. 2. To learn the main elements of the defensive driving program. 3. To learn information and general rules. 4. To learn the traffic penal system followed in the kingdom. Second, the principles and techniques of the defensive system are the cornerstone of the defensive driving program. Defensive driving requires the use of a set of habits whilst driving a vehicle to be ready for any occurrence, regardless of the errors and actions of others. Third, a defensive driver always checks his vehicle before driving to ensure its integrity before embarking on any journey. Fourth, a defensive driver always considers his preparedness to embark on a safe journey. A defensive driver does not drive a vehicle if he is 1. Under the influence of any medication or drug that may limit his ability to drive. 2. Very tired. 3. Angry or sad. 4. Ill-prepared physically or mentally. 5th. A defensive driver must be ready for the unexpected, as this may protect him and save his life. 6th. A defensive driver always gives priority to others, even if he has priority to pass. 7th. A defensive driver always behaves properly whilst driving with a city, even if others do not. 8th. A defensive driver always behaves properly whilst driving on highways, even if others do not. 9th. Many traffic accidents occur due to driving too close to the vehicle in front. it is possible to avoid such accidents by following one of the defensive driving points. Maintain a distance equal to at least 2 seconds between you and the vehicle in front of you. 10th, a defensive driver can properly deal with any adverse circumstances when driving, such as congestion and emergency situations. 11th, a defensive driver does not overtake other vehicles if the law does not allow such. You must not overtake others when there is a solid single or double line. 1. Do not overtake on hills. 2. Do not overtake at intersections. 3. Do not overtake at railway lines. 12th, a defensive driver does not commit the following fatal habits. 1. Exceeding the speed limit. This is the main cause of deaths in car accidents in the kingdom. 2. Not checking that the blind spot is clear of any other vehicles before changing lanes when overtaking. 3. Not leaving a safe distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you is very dangerous, as it does not allow you enough time to react appropriately if the car in front of you stops suddenly. Maintain enough distance between you and the vehicle in front in line with the 2-second rule, no matter the speed of the vehicle. 13th, a defensive driver avoids these fatal habits. 1. Overtaking on the shoulder of the road, as they are often narrow and not designed for overtaking. 2. Not wearing your seatbelt immediately upon getting into the vehicle. Ensure that all passengers are also wearing their seatbelts. 3. Occupying yourself distracts your attention whilst driving. You must not use a mobile phone or any other device whilst driving a vehicle, such as preoccupying yourself with a navigation system, as well as avoid drinking, eating and smoking, or any other thing that may distract your thought and attention. 4. You must ask passengers to help you not become distracted. For example, allow them to answer your telephone calls and help you with maps. 14th, a defensive driver does not drive off the road and does not drive any vehicle they are not comfortable with. 15th, the main aim of the Tyre traffic control system in the kingdom is to improve safety on the roads through reducing the probability of accidents occurring and changing drivers' behavior. Fixed and other mobile cameras are used to detect the following offenses. 1. Exceeding the speed limit. 2. Not obeying a red light. 3. Failure to stop or follow the correct system at pedestrian crossings. 16th, losing your life or the lives of your relatives and loved ones is the ultimate price for poor driving or the poor driving of others. Certain traffic offenses in the Eastern Province are explained in this file. Stopping distance. First, many accidents occur due for not having a safe distance left between you and the vehicles in front of you. You must always leave a distance equal to 2 seconds to separate between you and other vehicles ahead. This is one of the most important defensive driving rules to avoid accidents. Second, you will learn 1. To identify the hazards associated with driving very close to the vehicle in front of you. 2. To leave a safe distance by estimating the length of the vehicle. 3. To estimate the safe distance to apply the 2-second rule. 4. What you must do when another vehicle is very close from behind. Third, driving very close behind another vehicle is very dangerous. Those who drive their vehicles in such a way are often in a hurry. Stopping suddenly in front of one such driver can cause an accident. Fourth, to avoid an accident. 1. Do not follow very close behind other vehicles. 2. Allow a safe space between you and the vehicle in front of you. There are 2 ways to estimate the distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you. 3. Be alert and anticipate that the vehicle ahead of you may stop suddenly. 5th, the average length of any vehicle or truck is 6 meters. You must leave a distance equal to the average length of the vehicle in front of you for every 16 kilometers per hour of speed. Example, if you are driving behind a vehicle at 40 kilometers per hour, you must leave a distance of not less than that of 2 vehicles. If you are on the highway driving at 120 kilometers per hour, you must leave a distance equivalent to 8 vehicles. 6th, the safe distance rule between vehicles applies in ideal conditions when the roads are dry and visibility is good. If, however, the road is wet or visibility is poor, due to fog or driving in the dark, reduce your speed and increase the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. 7th, the easiest and best way to check the distance between yourself and the vehicle driving in front of you is to apply the 2-second rule. When the rear of the vehicle in front of you passes a fixed point of the road, such as a lamppost, road signs, or any other fixed objects next to the road, begin counting 1001, 1002. Stop counting when the front of your vehicle reaches the same fixed point. 8th, if your vehicle reaches the same fixed point before you finish counting, it means that you are too close to the vehicle in front of you. 9th, if you are too close to the vehicle in front of you, reduce your speed to create extra distance. Start applying the 2-second rule again to ensure the correct distance. 10th, the 2-second rule between vehicles applies in ideal conditions on dry roads with good visibility. If the road is wet or visibility is poor due to fog, increase the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you by increasing the count to 3 or 4 seconds. 11th, if the vehicle driving behind you is following you too closely, you must do the following. 1. Check the rear and side mirrors as well as the blind spot. 2. Indicate to the other driver that you will change lanes. 12th, when you are dangerously close to a vehicle and you cannot change lanes, never increase your speed. Touch the brake softly. This will cause your brake lights to flash.